Everybody, it's funny, isn't it, this time of year? It's, it's still sunny, so you want to say afternoon, but it's getting dusky, so you say evening. In a month's time, we'll still say afternoon at 6 o'clock, won't we? How are you all? So I'm hoping this is going to be a good time for people, because obviously usually we try it on a Tuesday. It's just Try It Out Tuesday. It's at 8 o'clock, but obviously it's launch day, so we're adding in an extra one. Hello, Sammy. How are you? I was just getting my chat up on my phone so I can see. Marvellous. So, have we all been enjoying the lives we have managed to catch today? There have been a few with mixed results from me. See, now the chat's gone. So what we're going to be doing is I've still got to Try It Out Tuesday on at 8 o'clock. So, do make sure you come there. But, oh no, that's the other one. Here we go. It's taking a bit of time. Oh, hello, Alison, my darling. There we are. But we wanted to do an extra one. Catching up slowly and sharing everything. Thank you very much, my darling. Okay, so yeah, I thought we'll do some art journaling. So far today, we can catch up on some of these lives on Facebook. We have had, so I did the launch hour on here where we went through all the papers and the stamps. I stamped those. So if you want to go back a video and see that, I went through all the papers. There is 12 new packs in the Catalyst cards to choose from. So, you might want to have a little look at those. And then we stamped all the stamps. We went through the transparency prints. So literally went through everything piece by piece. If there's anything that you haven't seen that you'd like me to go through in a bit more detail, please feel free to ask. And of course, I will be using the new products again at 8 o'clock in Try It Out Tuesday. If you're catching up with these videos later, all these products are still going to be available. They're on the Be Crafty website. And do make sure you have a look through the other videos, but also like and subscribe to the Be Crafty YouTube channel. Okay, I feel like that's enough housekeeping out of the way. So today we have launched 2 new Catalyst card packs. We have launched Catalyst cards number 3 and number 4. I'm trying to keep things a little bit simpler these days by just giving numbers. So we've got number 3, which is a full colour sort of mixed media style background. Okay, and then we have number 4, which is ledger pages taken from a 1920s record ledger. In terms of its company records, not as in LPs. And both of these are available in 3 sizes, A6, A5 and A4. And you have got the full colour versions and a grayscale version in both. All right, so Sam has put a link on that. There is also a link in the description, so you can find that if you're not in the chat, okay? So you've got all of these. You have 8 designs, and in the A6 and A5 you get 2 of each per pack, and in the A4 it's 1 of each per pack, and that is primarily to keep the price point down so that everybody can have a go. We don't want everyone thinking, oh, I'd like the A4, but because they're twice the size, obviously they're twice the cost, we don't want to price anyone out of having the A4s, so that's why we've taken it down to 1 sheet per pack. And there you are. All right. So for art journaling tonight on this lovely 6 o'clock live, I have decided upon this one, which is this one, from Catalyst cards number 3. Okay, what I have done is I've cut this down ready to go into my pink notebook journal that you may have seen me working on at other stages this year. It's sort of like my new one for this year, and do you want to know why? Right, so this year I started working on doing pages in this notebook, creating an art journal out of it, okay? That's as far as I've got. And now, the reason I started this, okay, is because I thought I had accidentally, during a tidy up of my desk, thrown away my notebook journal that is also in older videos you might see here on YouTube. However, during a tidy up. As I have been in my craft room sort of all day, you know, following Sam's and Sally's lives and what have you, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to have a little bit of a tidy up. Don't get too excited. It's not tidy, but a little bit of a tidy up. And I found it. It hadn't been accidentally chucked away. It had been momentarily camouflaged. And I honestly cannot tell you the absolute delight, because I so enjoyed putting pages in this last year. And the thought that it had accidentally gone in the bin, I was really good. I didn't get upset about it. I just accepted it and moved on. But there was that little bit of me that was heartbroken for a moment. So the fact I found that, honestly, has made my absolute day. But there you are. Anywho, so you can see in that notebook journal, and that was a line page journal, notebook. But this one, I'm trying to go for more of a clean edge look. Okay. Now I absolutely love full page. I like full, I like lots of colour. You know, I'm not very good with the whole blank space thing. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm saying I'm not good at doing it. All right. So what I'm doing with this notebook that I've turned into a journal is I've created this sort of border edge. Okay. And that's whether I'm using a catalyst card. So for example, the backgrounds in these are catalyst cards. That's a grayscale one there that I've added the yellow to. Or I'm creating my own one using stamps or whatever as a background. I'm cutting it to a certain size. Now, just to keep the measurements mixy, I don't know what size this book is. It's an A5 journal, okay? So what I'm doing, in order to get the border I want, I've actually had to mix my, can't think of the word. I've mixed my measurements, okay? So in this A5 journal, I do 19 centimetres by 5 inches. And by doing that, that gives me the same border on every page. So I have cut down this layer here. So these are A5. So yeah, so A5 is with rounded corners would fit absolutely perfectly. So I've taken this and I have cut it down. Imperial and metric, yeah, but there's a word. There's a word I'm thinking of. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So yeah, so I go at 5 by 19. So I mix my imperial and metric measurements. Okay. So we actually don't need either of these things now for a moment. I'll put my journal over here. Hope that doesn't craft the lunch down. And put my catalyst cards over here. Okay, so I've cut this down. Now, I have to just be very, very quick and show you something which I think is insanely awesome. Really, really cool. So I've created lots of stamped ephemera. It might not look like a lot, but that's because I've spread it out so it's all neat and I can see which ones I've got. It'll all go into one box later. But for the purposes of the launch, I wanted it all separate. So I've stamped on catalyst card and cut it out. Now, I have done one of the big clocks from the new wasted time stamp set. Okay, and I've just noticed that with the one I've picked, you could line that up perfectly with, I'm using like the dots there. You could line it up perfectly. So it's almost like it's on the page, but it's not because it comes off it as well. And I thought, to be honest, I think that looks really, really cool. I'm so easily impressed, aren't I? But you know, where that yellow carries on, there's no seam, even though there is, because it's stamped and cut out. Love it. Anyway, sorry, just when I was cutting it down, I was like, that's brilliant. I was so impressed. And if you can be impressed with yourself, you should be. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm not a GNU. That's a type of, you know, moose, isn't it? I am going to darken this down just a little bit. The reason being, I've stamped all my stamped ephemera in black. I have also heat embossed it, but that's just to reduce smudging, not for any other particular reason. So I'm going to use a black soot Distress Oxide. I'm going to do a bit of blending around the edge, and we're going to add a few little details into our page to work around, okay? So I have got my regular dots Dinkable from Dinkable set 2. So I'm going to add some of those on first. Again, if anyone's joining in the chat or joining the live later and there's any of the products you'd like me to go through again, please let me know. And I'm just going to add in a few of these. I think these are a really good place to start. I think if you're adding stencil detail using your inkables to your catalyst cards, and you're like, I'm nervous to know where to start, I think the regular dots from Dinkable set 2 are a really good place to start, because dots are a great thing to add. You know, as crafters, we love circles and dots and that sort of thing. And you're not going to overpower anything just by adding some regular dots. But I would also say, if you're adding black or a darker colour to a background in any way, the regular dots are a really good place to start. Again, because they're not too overpowering, it's a small detail. And if you do it in like, do you know what, I'm not sure about the black, you're not going to hate it, which is nice. Okay, so then I've got Dinkable set 3. Now, in Dinkable set 3, absolutely fantastic one, we have some larger circles. So I'm just going to add in a few of these sort of off the edge, okay? Now, we do have a multi-buy deal on for the Dinkables, so if there was some Dinkables you were after, it's always a good idea to add in a few more. I promise you will get the use out of them. They are great for texture paste. You can emboss them on your die cutting machines. Just follow the sandwich as you would for a brass template or stencil. And then we've got those circles on there. Do you know what? I think I am just going to leave them on those two sides. Okay, and we're already starting to change the look of this catalyst card. Okay, so the catalyst cards were named, I'm going to get that back, I keep putting it away too prematurely. The thing with the catalyst cards, the reason they are named so is not, they weren't to replace your background making, unless you want them to, of course, but that wasn't the point. Okay, the point was to give you a catalyst, a kickstart to your crafting. You didn't know where to start. Now, some of the backgrounds in the catalyst cards are exceedingly full of detail. So, for example, if I grab this one, new one from Catalyst Cards number 3, you know, this has a lot going on. You know, you could add a couple of bits to that, layered up, and you wouldn't have to do anything else. Some of them might need a bit more, unless you like that emptier space. The beauty of it is, though, because it's all one layer, it's all secured ink, so you can do water techniques on top of this, you can sand it, you can emboss it, you can anything like that. What it means is you can do all of that without interfering with this background at all, because it's perfectly secure. All right, so it just gives you a kickstart. So say it works, okay, and you have this fantastic kick up the bum of creativity. All right, and it sort of goes for it and you love it, and you sort of realise that you've actually gone over most of your catalyst card. Well, that's not a waste of a catalyst card. That's absolutely brilliant, because that means what it's done is boosted your creativity to the point where you've created your own background over the top. And that's what they're for. You know, that really is what they're for. I have actually finished with it now, so I am allowed to put it away. Right, so I'm just going to lift that down. I'm keeping this A4 blending mat at the minute with just black ink on it, in an attempt to keep the black ink all in one place. I don't think it'll work, but I'm trying. Okay, you may have noticed, you may not have, okay, in the pages I showed you in this journal, all of these layers as well, I have done a faux stitch around the edge. So I'm going to do that now. So that is done. Because unlike some of the other pages I've created in this journal, I think what I'm going to do is put this layer in now, and then we're going to add stuff to it once it's in the journal. What I've done for a lot of those pages, and you can catch up with all of these on the Be Crafty YouTube channel. If you can click on the live tab to find all the Try It Out Tuesdays that I've done them on, or you can click on to Try It Out Tuesday, or if it is just the art journal pages you're looking for, go to the playlist that says art journaling, and all of the art journal videos that I've put on YouTube will be under that playlist. So you can scroll along and have a look for the ones that tickle your pickle, if you're looking for something specific. If there is any of the Be Crafty products, including the new ones today, say you don't think, you know, you've seen enough of one particular one, that you're like, I wish you'd show me that more in an art journal page or a scrapbook page or anything like that, then do let us know. Just make sure you click that like and subscribe button. We have sort of, again, if you're new to the channel, this is for you. If you're here most Tuesdays, I'm apologising because I'm going to be repeating myself a little bit. And we have decided this month, so this is a fairly new thing, that the first Try Out Tuesday of every month is going to be dedicated to scrapbooking with stamps. I did my first one this month, first time I've scrapbooked in ages. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and profess that it was the best scrapbook page I've ever made, but I did really like it. So feel free to go and have a look at that. It was my eldest daughter's prom picture, stood with her pony. So we're going to now. So if I just put that there, let me just grab this one here. So you see how we've sort of moved it on. I'm not going to say elevated. I'm not going to say elevated. We've just progressed slightly. But you could pick out one of the colours in here. You could go in with that really nice citrusy green. So for this I would use Tim Holtz Twisted Citron, because that's what I used here. And this would be the picked raspberry and then the mustard seed most likely. So would you like to see... I'll tell you what, would you like to see the original for this one? Let me see. Because these are all my Catalyst cards as I've made them. So this one... Wait, see, I'm not going to be able to find it now, am I? Oh yeah, here we go. It's here. So you can see, so the white splashes here are actually heat embossed in white. So that's the original that I made. You can tell it's all crunkly and bent from all the water techniques I did on it. So there you go. I keep them all bundled together. All right. So like I say, we're going to... Oh, actually, I'm going to do some stamping on this before I put it in. So I'm going to go back to here because I'm going to be stamping in black. So I'm going to go to the Wasted Time stamp set, the new stamp set we've released today. I have lifted up an acrylic block with it as well because I've just left the big clock on there in case I want to use it. But what we're going to use is some of these beautiful cogs here. All right, so I'm going to get my Super Skinny Slim journal border block. Okay. To be honest, the reason we call it a journal border block, and that's what it's called on the website too, this is one of the Super Skinny Slims, so it's slightly more flexible. It's from 2mm acrylic. And when this was made, it was to go with a set of journal borders. So that's why. It's, you know, you can use it on other things. And I primarily do. I use it for small stamps, such as this, where I'm going into ink and then onto my card or paper or something like that. I absolutely love it. We do have smaller Super Skinny Slims, and we do have these fantastic bone-shaped Slims, which are, well, we call them bonios to ourselves because they look like bonios. That Sam really likes using for these sort of size of stamps, but I am more of a, because I like having the handle of the journal border block, you see. So I just then sort of dab. Yeah. It's finding the products that work for you. It's the reason we do the Super Skinny Slims in so many shapes and sizes, because we do square ones and circle ones as well. But I will say, so like I say, these are in the 2mm acrylic. If you prefer something a bit weightier, we still do our original range of Slims, which are made with a 5mm acrylic. so they're just a little bit thicker on your hand. So that, you know, there is going to be something that is going to be more your preference. And I know a lot of people like stamping platforms nowadays, but they're just not for me, because obviously they don't always work in this sort of situation. Sam, bonios for the win. I didn't use them earlier as they were in the sink being cleaned. Well, there you go, you see. Sam, it's all about the little bonios. I'm sure I had some, but I don't know where they are because I don't use them a lot. Well, I definitely will have had some. I don't know why I said that. I'm sure I had some. Well, yeah, you did. See, I love this little cog. It's so cute. And you could add this in like so many little places. You could add in little colours as well, just to add in that little look. I nearly went up there then, nearly got him looking like a certain mouse. I could go overboard with the cogs, I feel. I won't, but I'll just add that one in there. And then just to keep it a little bit fancy, right, I'm going to go to the time is free. I'm going to get this cog here. It's like a cog, but bougie. That one, look at that. Bougie cogs. See, that's not a phrase that wasn't on your bingo card for 2025, was it? Bougie cogs. Well, there you are, you see. Just add in a few bougie cogs. Yeah, I can definitely feel myself getting out of hand now. Okay. And so we're going to put our VersaFine on. Hi, Maxine! And we're going to put... I'm just going to put that under there. Okay. Now, due to my smudging tendencies, I'm just going to give my hands a wipe, and then we're going to give that a quick waft with the heat tool. That, I'm sorry, is not plugged in, because talking about bougie, I'm starting to get chilly, so I have a heated blanket. Right. So I'm just going to... Hi, Sarah. Oh, don't worry. The lives are all there to catch up on. Do not frettle, petal. Okay. So this is one of our new catalyst cards, and we've blended it, adding in some black. I don't want to say black highlights, but you know where I'm. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I know what I mean. Which, trust me, is not always the case. I cannot unequivocally say I always know what I mean. Which probably doesn't come as a surprise to a lot of you. Okay. So let's pick up our notebook journal. Okay, and we're going to get onto a lovely new page, which is quite exciting because it means I can go here. See? Isn't that just going to sit in there wonderfully? All right, I am going to use, which I seem to be doing a lot in this journal, use some double-sided tape. I think I'm just liking the fact that it's holding my layer lovely and flat straight away. Okay, so yeah, so like I say, if you are new to the Be Crafty Lives, please like and subscribe. Because we're not at 1,000 subscribers yet. So it's only because our account's so old that we can actually go live at all. So it will show it to more people. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take off the double-sided tape. I've probably put a bit too much on, but it's better too much than too little, I feel. I feel that way about ink, obviously, a lot of the time. And then we're going to start putting together the page with a stamped ephemera. I haven't stamped a sentiment yet, so we can do that together. I haven't stamped any of my sentiments because I do seem to end up with them. Okay, so we're going to look about there. I really hope that's right because it started to stick and there's not much I can do about it. So I'm just going to put a piece of paper on there. And press that down flat. Absolutely lovely. Love it. Okay, so now we can start adding in things. Now, again, if we go back to some of our other pages in this journal, you'll see I will go off the page. That's intentional. It's something I like to do. Now, for my next trick, no, it's not really a trick. I am going to use some matte medium to stick in the other elements. But I have got quite a big tub, so I'm just going to squeeze some into a tray. All right, but what we can do is we can have a play with the layout to start off with. Now, if you were with me this morning, we were layering up our clocks and things in different formats with how I've done them. Okay, now obviously you could, of course, still layer this up. You might need to cut it off a little and put that over the top. And to a certain extent, it works even better when you've started to add stuff to the page because is it on the same level, is it not, and what have you. But what we're going to start with, I think, is maybe adding in something in the white. But I also have, of course, all of these fantastic layers. But what I didn't show you earlier, let me just move that a second, is all these fantastic layers as well that I've cut out of Catalyst card, including these, which you could just add on. And you're almost then creating your own mix of the Catalyst cards. I've got a couple of different ones of those. I actually might go with one of those on the edges. You can lay those together. I've got some of the clocks, some of which I've sort of kept as a whole corner, and others where I've just done the outside. Okay, and then, but obviously that also leaves you with the centers. So there's lots you can do to add these together. But what I've also done is, I think you guys will like this, from one of my A5 cover sheets, I've also got some of the rectangles. So from your cover sheet that tells you the designs that are coming in the pack, okay, I've also got some of the rectangles, so I think they'll be good to make a page sort of all on their own. But I think because we've gone with black, I should have maybe added some blue, I think, if I wanted to add some of these. But what I've also done, and this is a great thing to do if you've got other YouTubes on, or if, you know, you're watching a series or something. On, again, where's that one I was showing you earlier? So, for example, on this one, you've got lots of the hand-drawn hearts, and not everybody is confident or wants to hand draw those yourself. Okay, so what I've done here is I've cut out loads of them. All right, so you can just add them on wherever you want. But in all honesty, all I'm doing right now is confusing myself because I'm giving myself that many options. I actually don't know what to do. So I think I'm just going to have to commit. So this is going to be a real sort of, crikey, she's just going for it. And I'll tell you for why. Because otherwise I'm going to sit here and fuss over it and I'm not going to get anything stuck down, and I've got to be back here at 8 o'clock. So we definitely need to get something on this page. All right, so let's get a brush and some matte medium. Or do I just go in the middle? Playing with the layout, playing with the layout. Right, let's commit. I'm going to put some matte medium on here. There comes a point where you do also have to face the fact it actually doesn't matter. I'm going to put that one on there. And then put this white one. I do like to have the 12s facing up, but that's just, you know, my lizard brain. Okay. And then what I am going to do is for the middle of here, I'm going to take this one, which I absolutely adore because I feel like it's got all the funky colours in. So this is from The Time Is Free. And we're going to put some matte medium on that and put that in the middle. Again, with the 12 facing up. Got some bristles coming off my brush. I'll hold that down. Okay. And then I'm going to go for this clock. Now this clock is from the middle of the Wasted Time border. Okay. We're going to put that again with the 12 to the top because lizard brain pointing up. Okay, so this is the thing with the clocks. If you missed it this morning, I did go through it a bit more this morning. If you want to check out this morning, the 12 noon live. So if you want to go to the live video before this one here on YouTube, I went through piecing together these clocks and how you can do the different layers. But you can see in here. So for example, this one. So we've sort of got a basic, mid one, super bouge, okay? So in the mid one, you can see I've got 4 separate elements just from that clock. But you could do more, all right? Because we've got the whole thing, all right? Then we've got the outside. And then the inside, which you can do together if you're cutting with a knife. But if you want to make your life easier, just do them separately and biff one of the others. Okay. And then I've got where I've cut out just a sort of decorative edge around the clock. Now, you could also obviously just cut out that centre circle if you wanted to layer it up, decoupage it that way. All right. So we've got those elements there. Excuse me. All right, so I think we need a little bit more. I'm going to go for... I actually don't know. I'm going to go on and I'm going to add some of the more colourful cogs in because I've stamped some of these on Catalyst card as well. So sort of lay them on top of where we've put some of the black blending as well because they'll really pop out from there. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to add in some of these hearts. Now the green from, I'm just going to bring that down to the pink section. The green from this Catalyst card does not necessarily match the one on the Catalyst card we've used, but only you can say how much that is going to bother you with your finished page. With me, very little. But this is my page, not yours. If it would bother you, then absolutely change it up. Okay. Well, I think what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to snip this one in half. To keep it directly in half, I'm just going to follow the symmetry of the pattern. Okay. That needs a bit more matte medium. See, I've bought a matte medium that's a bit thinner than what I'm used to. So I'm getting a little bit of bending, which I'm not a massive fan of. But we're not going to let that worry us too much. Okay. And then what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to take one of the coloured in sections, one of the catalyst card sections. Well, I was going to, but that's going to be too big. So bear with me. Is that one going to be too big? Very briefly, only a little, but what I'm still going to do then is I'll cut that one in half too. Because I actually like how that one looked with the pattern. Put that on the inside. So we're layering up sort of like the full colour and black and white versions. I have to say, if you love mixed media backgrounds on your stamped ephemera and things like that, catalyst cards, they're just the way forward, because you can stamp any of your stamps obviously on here, and look, it's just brilliant. Brilliant. And you don't have to worry about ruining backgrounds or stamping over backgrounds that maybe you've spent ages creating and you're like, I don't want to stamp over it. I want, you know, I really like it. And whatever. So I'm just going to add, feel like it needs one more because, you know, extra. And then we need a sentiment. I'm feeling like one of the bigger ones. Okay, so I'm thinking one of these two. I think I'm going to go with time can be used and spent but not owned or kept. Okay, so I have got some white, just offcuts here. I keep them in a little stack next to my desk for purposes just like this. All right, and then we're going to go with that bottom sentiment. The important thing with the catalyst cards is to not think, oh, well, I didn't do the background, it's not mine. Yeah, it is. I did the background, and I'm saying you can say that. So it's mine, and I'm saying you can. All right. But not owned or kept. Beautiful. All right, I'll tell you what I am going to do, as previously discussed, smudge risk. Just going to give that a quick dousing of Detail Clear embossing powder. I mean, there will come a time where I do some more demos using these catalyst cards, and I'll do even more covering up. But I think on the day that I'm trying to show you how fabulous they are, that would be strange. All right, so here's what I'm going to do for this one, though. I am going to cut this out and ticker tape it. Okay. So we're going to go time. Now, I will say, I do think this would make a fantastic just on there. Love it. I'm going to put time there. And this is quite a fine font. And I will be honest with you here, one of the reasons I have used this really fine font on here is we use really high quality photopolymer for our stamps. And occasionally, often, you know, you do get that, oh, well, you can't get the really fine detail with photopolymer. If the photopolymer is good enough, you can. And these are. So I wanted some lovely fine line sentiments to show them off, basically. And I think that's fair enough. Okay. So let me just get those little bits out of the way. And then I'm going to bring that down. I think that's a good layout for those. Okay, so we're going to do time. Time's one of those words, you know, you look at it long enough and you'll convince yourself it's spelt wrong. So what I usually have problems with is very. See, if you look at very too long, you could convince yourself it's spelt incorrectly. But not owned or kept. Obviously, you don't need to do this. Okay, you could keep it all as one. I'm not suggesting that you have to. But I, you know. And then I'm just going to get my white pen because I can't leave well enough alone. All right. And we're just going to add in a few more bits. So these cogs that I've stamped, we're going to add in some dots around there. You know, so people know it's me. So for this one around here, we're going to go in and we're going to add in. Because that's what we're doing, aren't we? We're mixing up the white elements with the full colour and the black. You know, we're using that lovely monochrome. And then putting in these flashes of colour. And what better way to tie that all in than adding in just a little bit more. Because what that's going to do is that's going to, for example, tie these cogs to that white bit. Okay. I'll do a little first stitch around that blended circle. Do a dot in the middle of that cog. And some dots around the edge. It's making it all look like it was on purpose. And it belongs together. You could add sequins to this if you wanted. So, for example, this I also think would make a lovely card front. Which you're more than free to do. If you see this and you've got your new stamps today, you think, you know what, when I get them, I'm going to recreate that, but as a card. You're absolutely free to do that. Please put it somewhere where I can see it. Tag me in it. Tag Be Crafty Stamps, wherever you put it, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, all of the above. Just because I'm nosy and I like to see, really. Alright, and then I'm going to go around here. But don't forget, if you haven't ordered yet today, they're on that introductory offer. If you are catching up later, don't worry. Just follow the links to the Be Crafty website and they'll all be there. Right, I'm going to stop now because otherwise I'll just keep going forever. Well, forever's a long time, but you get me meaning. Alrighty. So there we go. Using the new stamps and catalyst cards. So clocks and catalyst is how we've sort of termed today. So, and that's as clean as a art journal page I think I've ever made in terms of inkiness. Because aside from that blended ink around the edges and that little bit of Dinkables work, which I think ties it all together beautifully, you know, the rest is stamped, heat embossed and layered up. And I think it just works so beautifully. And using those catalyst cards to kickstart your creativity is just an absolutely fantastic thing. Okay, so that is it for this demo. I'm going to be back at 8 o'clock with Try It Out Tuesday, where I'm going to attempt, I'm going to succeed in making a card, a tag, and an ATC in a reasonable amount of time. Notice how I added that caveat on at the end. So well, let's see if I can do that, shall we? All right then, guys. If the links are in the description, if you want to find anything, if there's anything that you think we should have that you can't find on the website, you're like, well, I know she's got that, and you can't find it, do get in touch. And like I say, tag us in all of your Be Crafty makes, and like and subscribe right here on YouTube. All right then, guys. Thank you so much. See you at 8, or if you're catching up later, go on to the next video.